For nearly 2 decades, Queen Camilla fought through scandal, humiliation, public hatred, and relentless comparisons to Diana, Princess of Wales, to reach the highest level of royal power. Yet according to increasingly explosive whispers emerging from inside Buckingham Palace, Queen Camilla may now be facing the one nightmare Queen Camilla always feared, but could never fully prevent: being quietly erased from the monarchy by the very man destined to inherit it. As King Charles III continues navigating one of the most physically and emotionally fragile periods of his reign, multiple palace insiders now claim that Queen Camilla has been moving desperately behind closed doors, quietly pressing King Charles III to approve a series of private legal protections designed to secure Queen Camilla's future residence, Queen Camilla's financial privileges, and Queen Camilla's royal status after King Charles III is gone. Yet while Queen Camilla reportedly fights for survival inside the institution Queen Camilla spent decades trying to enter, another far colder force is already moving through palace corridors with precision of a future sovereign determined to reshape everything that comes next. That force, according to royal insiders, is Prince William, the future king, the eldest son of Diana, Princess of Wales, and the man many now believe has quietly begun preparing a monarchy where Queen Camilla may no longer have a place at all. Some insiders even claim Prince William's ambitions extend far beyond reducing Queen Camilla's influence, because according to increasingly persistent administrative whispers, Prince William may be quietly building a post-Charles era design not merely to modernize the institution, but to remove every remaining structure, every remaining advisor, and every remaining symbol connected to Queen Camilla's rise. The question now echoing through drawing rooms, legal offices, and private royal meetings is no longer whether Queen Camilla feels the pressure. The question now is whether King Charles III still has enough strength, enough authority, and enough time to stop an internal war between Queen Camilla and Prince William before the monarchy enters its most emotionally charged transition in decades. Inside a softly lit private chamber at Clarence House, sources close to palace operations claim Queen Camilla had already begun sensing that something inside the institution was shifting in ways Queen Camilla could no longer control. According to individuals familiar with Queen Camilla's private routine, Queen Camilla reportedly sat alone at a mahogany dressing table, priceless jewelry scattered across polished wood, handwritten notes resting beside official correspondence, while Queen Camilla's attention drifted not toward diamonds, not toward invitations, and not toward public appearances, but toward a far more painful reality. Every residence Queen Camilla had come to call home, every corridor Queen Camilla had filled with decades of memory, every private garden Queen Camilla had carefully shaped alongside King Charles III, none of it truly belonged to Queen Camilla. Under the strict succession laws of the House of Windsor, the moment King Charles III's reign ends, properties, staff structures, and institutional authority begin shifting immediately toward Prince William, the future king. That reality, according to insiders, has become increasingly difficult for Queen Camilla to ignore, because Queen Camilla reportedly understands something few people outside the palace fully appreciate. Queen Camilla's authority does not exist independently. Queen Camilla's power, Queen Camilla's visibility, and even Queen Camilla's institutional protection remain deeply connected to one man, King Charles III, and every visible sign of King Charles III's declining health reportedly feels less like illness to Queen Camilla and more like the quiet ticking of a constitutional clock moving steadily toward a future Queen Camilla cannot control. Administrative whispers now claim that Queen Camilla's anxiety extends far beyond residency, because Queen Camilla is allegedly deeply concerned about financial independence, long-serving assistance, charitable patronages, private office budgets, and ceremonial relevance once Prince William begins exercising full sovereign authority. And according to sources familiar with conversations taking place inside Kensington Palace, Prince William, the Prince of Wales, may already be planning for exactly that moment. Palace insiders claim Prince William has quietly begun reviewing secondary residences, reviewing staffing budgets, reviewing advisory structures, and reviewing long-term institutional costs connected to non-direct line royal influence. What makes those reviews especially unsettling for Queen Camilla, according to multiple insiders, is a repeated appearance of one specific property on internal financial discussions: Clarence House. To Prince William, the future king, Clarence House reportedly represents more than a residence. Clarence House represents an old power center built around compromises, emotional wounds, and unresolved public memory connected to Diana, Princess of Wales. As these quiet reviews continue, insiders now claim Queen Camilla has stopped waiting for fate to decide the future. According to palace administrative whispers, Queen Camilla recently made a private late-night visit to the personal study of King Charles III, not for romance, not for comfort, and not for ceremony, but for something far more urgent. Queen Camilla allegedly arrived carrying private legal drafts, estate protections, and handwritten proposals designed to secure Queen Camilla's residence, Queen Camilla's financial autonomy, and even discussions surrounding the possibility of a formal future role after King Charles III's reign. But what Queen Camilla did not know was that Prince William, the future king, may already have discovered exactly what Queen Camilla was trying to protect, and what Prince William allegedly did next would leave even senior palace advisors completely stunned. By the time the private meeting between Queen Camilla and King Charles III reportedly began inside the heavily guarded study of Clarence House, the atmosphere surrounding the king's inner circle had already changed in ways that longtime palace staff could feel without anyone saying a single word. According to administrative whispers emerging from senior royal advisors, evening schedules had become increasingly unpredictable. Trusted private secretaries were being quietly dismissed from late-night briefings. Legal consultants with decades of royal experience were suddenly being summoned through side entrances, and handwritten folders marked for personal review were reportedly moving between Clarence House and Buckingham Palace, with a level of discretion normally reserved for constitutional emergencies. What made those movements especially unsettling for palace observers was the growing belief that Queen Camilla was no longer simply preparing emotionally for the eventual transition of power, because Queen Camilla, according to multiple insiders, had begun actively negotiating for survival inside a monarchy that might soon no longer need Queen Camilla at all. Sources familiar with the private meeting claim Queen Camilla entered King Charles III's study carrying far more than concern, because alongside the emotional burden of a husband whose health remained under constant public scrutiny, Queen Camilla allegedly arrived carrying legal drafts, estate proposals, financial frameworks, and private recommendations quietly prepared by trusted advisors who understood exactly how brutal royal transitions can become once a sovereign passes and a new reign begins. According to individuals familiar with those documents, Queen Camilla's request reportedly focused on lifelong residency rights connected to Clarence House, independent financial protections designed to preserve Queen Camilla's private office, guaranteed staffing structures for long-time assistants, continued authority over Queen Camilla's charitable patronages, and perhaps most controversially of all, exploratory language surrounding a formal future title that would allow Queen Camilla to remain institutionally visible after the reign of King Charles III had officially ended. For Queen Camilla, the woman who spent decades climbing from public scandal to royal legitimacy, those requests were not vanity, and those requests were not ambition. According to palace insiders, those requests were about survival. King Charles III, however, reportedly found himself trapped between two loyalties that could no longer comfortably coexist. Sources close to Clarence House claim King Charles III listened quietly as Queen Camilla carefully guided conversation away from emotion and toward practical realities, reminding King Charles III of years spent defending the institution together, years spent enduring public hostility, and years spent building a royal image that many believed impossible to repair after the memory of Diana. Princess of Wales continued dominating public affection. Yet according to administrative whispers, every time Queen Camilla allegedly mentioned Clarence House, financial security, long-term relevance, or future ceremonial standing, King Charles III's expression reportedly grew heavier, because King Charles III understood something Queen Camilla understood equally well. Every promise made by a current king can be challenged by a future king, and that future king was Prince William. What Queen Camilla may not have realized that night, according to sources connected to both Clarence House and Kensington Palace, was that Prince William, the Prince of Wales, had already begun receiving increasingly detailed intelligence about late-night legal activity surrounding Queen Camilla's inner circle. Administrative whispers now claim that Prince William's private office had noticed unusual document requests involving estate law, inheritance protections, staffing continuity structures, and post-sovereign residency provisions, all connected directly or indirectly to Queen Camilla's advisors. For Prince William, the future king who has spent years quietly reshaping public expectations around a leaner and more modern monarchy, those developments reportedly triggered immediate concern, because from Prince William's perspective, every independent power center allowed to survive after King Charles III's reign represented not stability, but fragmentation. According to insiders familiar with Prince William's reaction, the Prince of Wales did not respond emotionally, did not confront Queen Camilla publicly, and did not create any visible palace drama. Instead, Prince William allegedly responded with something far more effective: administrative precision. Senior financial advisors connected to Prince William reportedly received quiet instructions to accelerate reviews involving secondary residences, ceremonial budgets, household staffing structures, private office expenditures, and charitable allocations tied to non-direct line influence. The name Clarence House, according to multiple insiders, reportedly began appearing repeatedly inside those internal reviews, not as a symbolic property, but as a potential center of duplicated influence that Prince William allegedly had no intention of preserving into the next reign. As these quiet reviews intensified, Queen Camilla reportedly began noticing subtle changes that no official memo could ever openly confirm. Invitations to private strategy meetings allegedly arrived later than usual. Certain long-serving assistants reportedly discovered that budget approvals were suddenly delayed without explanation. Advisors once welcomed inside sensitive policy discussions allegedly found themselves waiting longer outside private doors. According to sources close to Queen Camilla's office, the message was never spoken aloud, yet the message reportedly became impossible to ignore. Prince William, the future king, was not confronting Queen Camilla directly. Prince William was tightening the walls around Queen Camilla, one administrative decision at a time. Yet the most explosive development of all allegedly arrived the following morning, when Queen Camilla reportedly learned that Prince William, the future king, had quietly requested a private review of every legal draft connected to Queen Camilla's proposed post-Charles protections, and what Prince William allegedly found inside those documents would turn a cold family tension into something far closer to open royal war. When news reportedly reached Queen Camilla that Prince William, the future king, had quietly ordered a private legal review of every draft, memorandum, estate proposal, and financial safeguard connected to Queen Camilla's long-term future after the reign of King Charles III, palace insiders claimed something inside Queen Camilla shifted from anxiety into outright strategic resistance. According to administrative whispers now circulating through senior royal circles, Queen Camilla had spent weeks believing the conversations taking place inside Clarence House were still protected by the deeply unwritten rules that have governed royal family tensions for generations, rules built on discretion, loyalty, and the understanding that private survival negotiations remain hidden behind velvet curtains until history quietly moves on. Yet the moment Prince William, the Prince of Wales, allegedly inserted Kensington Palace legal advisors into the process, Queen Camilla reportedly realized that what had started as quiet preparation was now being treated as a direct institutional challenge by the very man who would soon inherit the crown. Sources familiar with Prince William's private review claimed the future king was not initially interested in Queen Camilla's emotional arguments, Queen Camilla's personal fears, or Queen Camilla's decades of sacrifice beside King Charles III. According to insiders connected to Kensington Palace, Prince William reportedly focused exclusively on structure, authority, and long-term institutional risk, and what immediately caught Prince William's attention was not one dramatic legal clause, but the cumulative architecture of Queen Camilla's proposals: lifelong residency rights at Clarence House, protected staffing budgets, independent administrative advisors, guaranteed ceremonial relevance, continued patronage authority, dedicated funding channels. What unsettled Prince William, according to administrative whispers, was a realization that Queen Camilla's legal protections did not simply secure dignity after the reign of King Charles III. Queen Camilla's proposals, if fully protected, could potentially preserve a parallel center of royal influence operating beside a new sovereign. And for Prince William, the future king committed to a leaner monarchy, that possibility reportedly crossed a line Prince William had no intention of accepting. According to sources familiar with Prince William's immediate response, Prince William, the eldest son of Diana, Princess of Wales allegedly summoned senior financial advisors, constitutional consultants, and long-serving administrative strategists into a late-night strategy session inside Kensington Palace. And what made that meeting especially significant was the absence of ceremony, the absence of media planning, and the complete absence of emotional language. Prince William reportedly approached the issue not as a son dealing with family tension, but as a sovereign-in-waiting confronting what Prince William allegedly viewed as an unnecessary duplication of institutional authority. Clarence House expenditures were reviewed. Secondary staffing structures were mapped. Charitable funding channels connected to Queen Camilla were analyzed. Legacy office budgets were quietly examined. According to insiders, by the end of that meeting, Prince William had reportedly begun constructing what one palace advisor later described as a transition framework designed to ensure that when King Charles III's reign eventually ends, every line of authority returns to one undisputed center. While Prince William, the Prince of Wales, quietly moved pieces across the institutional chessboard, Queen Camilla reportedly began feeling the pressure in ways that no formal announcement could openly explain. Sources close to Queen Camilla's office claimed routine approvals suddenly began moving more slowly. Travel requests involving Queen Camilla's private staff were allegedly subjected to additional review. Scheduling access around state events reportedly became more tightly controlled, and several longtime advisors connected to Queen Camilla quietly began hearing unsettling rumors that their roles might not survive the next reign. For Queen Camilla, the woman who had spent nearly 20 years transforming public hostility into royal legitimacy, those administrative shifts reportedly felt less like coincidence and more like a carefully designed warning from Prince William, the future king, that Queen Camilla's influence had an expiration date. What made the emotional pressure even more intense for Queen Camilla, according to insiders, was the increasingly visible rise of Catherine, Princess of Wales, known globally as Kate Middleton, whose public image, charitable influence, and extraordinary popularity with both British and international audiences reportedly began playing a quiet but powerful role in the internal balance of power. Administrative whispers claim major patronages, cultural initiatives, diplomatic opportunities, and symbolic institutional responsibilities that might once have naturally flowed toward Queen Camilla were now increasingly being associated with Catherine, Princess of Wales, a shift that many inside Buckingham Palace allegedly interpreted as more than public relations. For Queen Camilla, the realization that Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, represented not merely the future of the monarchy, but the emotional center of its next era, reportedly created a level of political isolation that no crown could hide. Yet the moment this cold institutional struggle moved dangerously close to open confrontation reportedly came when Queen Camilla, after receiving increasingly troubling briefings from Queen Camilla's inner circle, allegedly decided to take a far riskier step. According to multiple administrative whispers emerging from both Clarence House and Buckingham Palace, Queen Camilla reportedly began reaching out quietly to longtime aristocratic allies, influential private donors, senior charitable patrons, and old political relationships that had stood beside Queen Camilla during the darkest years of public scandal, hoping that a stronger external network might give Queen Camilla leverage against Prince William's growing internal machine. But what Queen Camilla allegedly did not know was that Prince William, the future king, may already learned exactly who Queen Camilla was calling, and what Prince William reportedly did with that information would leave even senior palace courtiers in complete disbelief. By the time reports allegedly reached Prince William, the future king, that Queen Camilla had quietly begun rebuilding old alliances beyond the formal walls of Buckingham Palace. Palace insiders claimed the internal struggle surrounding the future of the monarchy entered a far more dangerous and deeply personal phase. According to administrative whispers now circulating among senior royal advisors, Queen Camilla had reportedly begun making discreet handwritten correspondence, private telephone calls, and carefully arranged meetings with longtime aristocratic families, legacy donors, influential trustees, and social figures who had stood beside Queen Camilla during the darkest chapters of Queen Camilla's public rehabilitation. What made those quiet movements especially alarming for Prince William, according to sources connected to Kensington Palace, was not simply the existence of Queen Camilla's support network, but the timing. Queen Camilla's outreach reportedly began only after Prince William's private legal reviews, Prince William's financial audits, and Prince William's transition planning had started tightening institutional pressure around Clarence House, creating the unmistakable impression that Queen Camilla was no longer preparing for life after King Charles III's reign. Queen Camilla was preparing for political survival. Sources familiar with Prince William's internal reaction claim the Prince of Wales did not view Queen Camilla's outreach as emotional self-preservation, and Prince William did not reportedly dismiss Queen Camilla's actions as the understandable fear of a royal figure facing an uncertain future. Instead, according to multiple insiders, Prince William interpreted Queen Camilla's growing external alliances as something far more serious, a potential attempt to build an independent power structure capable of influencing public opinion, institutional appointments, charitable funding, and even media narratives during the first months of Prince William's eventual reign. For Prince William, the eldest son of Diana, Princess of Wales, and a man quietly shaping the architecture of the monarchy's next chapter, that possibility reportedly crossed from family discomfort into constitutional risk. Administrative whispers now claim Prince William immediately ordered a second layer of transition reviews, focusing not only on estates, budgets, and staffing, but on patronage networks, donor relationships, advisory circles, and social institutions historically connected to Queen Camilla's influence. What happened next, according to palace insiders, reportedly left even veteran courtiers stunned by Prince William's cold precision. Rather than confronting Queen Camilla directly, rather than allowing raised voices, emotional meetings, or public confrontation to damage the image of royal unity, Prince William allegedly began repositioning key institutional assets one signature at a time. Major charitable patronages once heavily associated with Queen Camilla reportedly began receiving strategic support from Catherine, Princess of Wales, known around the world as Kate Middleton. Cultural initiatives involving literacy, domestic safety, and youth outreach allegedly began appearing more frequently under the public visibility of Catherine, Princess of Wales. Invitations to private donor receptions reportedly shifted quietly toward Kensington Palace. Legacy advisors once considered loyal to Queen Camilla allegedly began receiving transition consultations from Prince William's office. According to multiple administrative whispers, Prince William, the future king, was not attacking Queen Camilla publicly. Prince William was quietly relocating the center of influence before Queen Camilla fully realized the ground beneath Queen Camilla's position was already moving. For Queen Camilla, the emotional weight of those changes reportedly became impossible to ignore during a private memorial gathering attended by senior members of the royal household, where, according to individuals familiar with the atmosphere, Queen Camilla allegedly watched as donors, cultural leaders, diplomatic guests, and longtime palace figures increasingly gravitated toward Prince William, the Prince of Wales, and toward Catherine, Princess of Wales, the woman many now see as the emotional face of the monarchy's next era. Sources close to Clarence House claim Queen Camilla reportedly noticed the subtle details that hurt the most. Conversations stopping when Queen Camilla approached, strategic introductions happening without Queen Camilla's advisors, and influential figures choosing longer private discussions with Catherine, Princess of Wales, rather than with the current queen. For Queen Camilla, the woman who spent decades climbing from public hostility to institutional acceptance, those moments reportedly felt less like social coincidence and more like a controlled transfer of emotional loyalty happening in plain sight. Yet while Queen Camilla was reportedly fighting to preserve influence through relationships, Prince William, the future king, was allegedly preparing something even more decisive behind closed doors with King Charles III himself. According to administrative whispers emerging from both Kensington Palace and Sandringham House, Prince William reportedly requested a private audience with King Charles III after reviewing Queen Camilla's legal drafts, donor activity, and estate proposals. Sources familiar with the mood inside that meeting claim Prince William entered not as a son seeking comfort from an aging father, but as a future sovereign confronting the final unresolved power center standing between Prince William's vision and Prince William's future reign. King Charles III, already carrying the visible weight of illness, emotional exhaustion, and the crushing reality of an approaching transition, reportedly found himself trapped between the woman King Charles III had fought a lifetime to love openly and the son King Charles III had spent a lifetime preparing to inherit the crown. And according to multiple insiders familiar with what happened next, Prince William, the Prince of Wales, allegedly placed a set of legal documents directly in front of King Charles III, documents connected to Clarence House, Queen Camilla's future protections, and the very financial guarantees Queen Camilla had quietly spent weeks trying to secure. And what Prince William reportedly did after placing those documents on King Charles III's desk may have changed the future of Queen Camilla forever. When Prince William, the future king, reportedly placed those legal documents in front of King Charles III inside the private study at Sandringham House, palace insiders claim the atmosphere inside that room changed so dramatically that even longtime royal aides waiting beyond the heavy oak doors could allegedly feel that something historic was unfolding behind closed walls. According to administrative whispers now circulating through senior palace circles, those documents contained everything Queen Camilla had reportedly spent weeks trying to secure in absolute secrecy: lifelong residency protections linked to Clarence House, independent financial guarantees, dedicated staffing structures, protected charitable authority, ceremonial relevance after the reign of King Charles III, and legal language that some insiders allegedly believed could preserve Queen Camilla as a secondary center of influence long after the crown had officially passed to Prince William. Yet what made that moment so emotionally devastating, according to sources familiar with the private meeting, was not the content of Queen Camilla's proposals. What made that moment unforgettable was the man standing beside those papers. Prince William, the eldest son of Diana, Princess of Wales, was no longer speaking as a wounded son, no longer speaking as an heir preparing quietly in the shadows, and no longer speaking as a prince balancing diplomacy with family loyalty. According to insiders, Prince William had entered that room speaking with the calm authority of a king whose reign had already begun in everything except name. Sources familiar with the private audience claim Prince William, the Prince of Wales, allegedly did not raise Prince William's voice, did not accuse Queen Camilla directly, and did not force King Charles III into emotional confrontation. Instead, Prince William reportedly walked King Charles III through each clause, each estate provision, each financial guarantee, and each structural safeguard with the precision of someone who understood that institutions rarely collapse through scandal alone. Institutions, Prince William allegedly argued, begin collapsing when old compromises survive into new reigns. Administrative whispers now claim Prince William made it unmistakably clear that Clarence House could not function as a parallel power center under the reign of Prince William, that private donor networks connected to Queen Camilla could not continue operating beyond the authority of the crown, and that no symbolic title, no independent budget, and no protected advisory structure would be allowed to compete with the unified image Prince William intended to build beside Catherine, Princess of Wales, known globally as Kate Middleton. For King Charles III, according to insiders close to Sandringham, the emotional weight of that conversation reportedly became almost unbearable. King Charles III, the monarch who had spent decades fighting public opinion, constitutional resistance, and personal heartbreak to bring Queen Camilla into the center of royal life, now reportedly found King Charles III facing a reality no sovereign ever wants to confront. The woman King Charles III loved was asking for protection, continuity, and dignity. The son King Charles III had spent a lifetime preparing for the crown was asking for unity, discipline, and institutional survival. Sources familiar with the room claim King Charles III allegedly sat in prolonged silence, King Charles III's attention drifting between Prince William, the legal drafts, and photographs resting quietly across the study, images from coronations, military ceremonies, and private family moments that now reportedly felt less like memories and more like evidence of an era quietly ending. While King Charles III reportedly struggled with that impossible choice, Queen Camilla was allegedly beginning to understand that the quiet resistance Queen Camilla had been sensing for weeks was not temporary pressure, not emotional hostility, and not palace gossip. According to sources close to Clarence House, Queen Camilla reportedly began receiving increasingly painful signs that Prince William's institutional machine was already moving without waiting for a formal succession. Long-serving assistants connected to Queen Camilla allegedly began hearing whispers about transfer reviews. Charitable advisors reportedly received delayed budget confirmations. Private donor receptions once centered around Queen Camilla increasingly began shifting toward Kensington Palace. Cultural initiatives once associated with Queen Camilla allegedly began appearing beside Catherine, Princess of Wales, And according to administrative whispers now spreading through Buckingham Palace, Queen Camilla reportedly realized with devastating clarity that Prince William, the future king, was not planning to remove Queen Camilla through public humiliation. Prince William was planning something far colder. Prince William was preparing to make Queen Camilla quietly irrelevant. What happened after the Sandringham meeting may never be officially confirmed. Yet according to multiple palace insiders, the documents Queen Camilla had quietly spent weeks preparing allegedly never received final approval. Clarence House protections reportedly entered indefinite review. Financial guarantees reportedly disappeared into legal consultation. Discussions surrounding ceremonial titles reportedly stalled without explanation. And for the first time since Queen Camilla officially entered the House of Windsor in 2005, insiders claim Queen Camilla reportedly began confronting a possibility more terrifying than public criticism, media attacks, or political resistance. Queen Camilla may not be fighting to keep the crown. Queen Camilla may now be fighting not to disappear from royal history entirely. And as Prince William, the future king, continues quietly shaping a monarchy built around Prince William, Catherine, Princess of Wales, and the next generation of the House of Windsor, one haunting question now echoes through the corridors of Buckingham Palace. Is Prince William's cold determination a necessary act of institutional protection, or is Prince William, the son of Diana, Princess of Wales, finally settling a score that history never allowed Prince William to forget? If this royal investigation shocked you as much as the insiders who claim to have witnessed it, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share your thoughts in the comments below, because the next chapter inside Buckingham Palace may already be unfolding, and you won't want to miss what comes next.